Hello, and welcome to another edition of Good Deeds. It's brought to you by justserve.org. If you are looking for ways to get involved in the community, to make a difference in people's lives, there are many organizations doing that on a daily basis here in the Sacramento area. And justserve.org is a great place to find them and start getting involved. Today, we are learning more about an organization that has been doing a lot to help people in this region for many, many years. Talking with Steve Walsh from the American Red Cross here in Northern California, who's the communications director. Thanks for joining us on Good Deeds, Steve.
You're welcome. Good to see you.
It's good to see you too. And I'm anxious to learn more about what the Red Cross does in Northern California. Of course, I'm very familiar with the blood donation side of it, as I just gave blood yesterday. And I really enjoy watching the journey that my donation makes to eventually helping people in hospitals. And the American Red Cross has been doing that for years. What are some of the other ways that you are helping people here in Northern California?
Well, probably, aside from blood donations, the biggest thing that people know us for is disaster response. So when we hit wildfire season, that sometimes can last 100 days or more, the Red Cross is the agency that's working with the local counties where the fire happens to shelter everybody who has to be evacuated.
Mm.
Once the sheltering is done, 20, 30, 100 days later, we also are capable of providing them with long-term financial assistance, things like that. But beyond sheltering and beyond the blood collection, we also are very well known since we were founded, actually, with service to the armed forces. We provide help to service members who are returning to civilian life to kind of get them reacclimated. Sometimes we provide them with workshops to kind of get them through things like PTSD, things like that. We provide services for veterans of all sorts, families of active duty military. And then we also do training services. And for us, what that means is we'll teach you how to do CPR, first aid, how to use an AED device, things like that, lifeguarding, all kinds of things. So we really do a lot.
Yeah.
And the bottom line for all of this is we do it through public donations. So we rely on people to donate money to us so that we keep providing all these services throughout Northern California and throughout the country.
Yeah, it sounds like there's a lot of coordination that goes into these efforts, especially, here in California, where wildfire season is lasting longer and longer and affecting more and more areas. I imagine that's a year-round effort to be prepared. What kind of preparations is the Red Cross doing as we're in wildfire season now?
Well, you're right. This is a year-round process to get ready. The newest thing that the Red Cross is doing is something that we started last summer, which is instead of waiting for the fires to happen and waiting for the county to say, "Can you please open a shelter?" We're making sure that we have staff and volunteers on the ground before the fires start, so that they can get to work that much quicker and we can provide services to folks that much quicker. But it's all about partnerships for us. We're talking to the counties, we're talking to partner agencies like the Salvation Army to provide meals to these folks, a lot of other feeding agencies. We're talking to homeless shelters that can help us with folks that might have been previously homeless to make sure that when they leave the shelter, they have a safe place to go. So it really is about partnerships, but this is all about logistics and planning 12 months a year before it starts.
Does the Red Cross get any indication from officials ahead of time what areas are likely to be hit by wildfires? How much advance notice do you get so you can go into an area and prepare to help?
Well, I'll answer that two ways. So, number one, we are watching all the meteorological models. We're talking to CAL FIRE. We're talking to local fire departments. So, I've seen the map of what this fire season is going to look like. Unfortunately, for Northern California, most of that map is in the red, which basically means all of it is subject potentially to wildfires.
That's a very sobering thought. What is some of your best advice for people to prepare themselves for wildfire season? And hopefully it doesn't happen to you and your family and your home. But what can people do now to be prepared?
Literally, that's the million-dollar question. The answer is prepare. So if you live in a part of Northern California or anywhere in the state, frankly, that is prone to wildfires, think about what you would need to take with you at a moment's notice, whether it's documents, medication, stuff for your pets, stuff for your kids, things that are sentimental. Pack that stuff up now, because when you get an evacuation order, you have a very, very short amount of time to leave, and it's incredibly stressful. So the more time you plan ahead, the better off you are. They even tell you things like, if you're in a fire prone area, park your car backwards in the driveway so that when you leave the driveway, you can see where you're going if it's full of smoke, for example. So there's a lot of tips. All of it's on our website, by the way, redcross.org. You can go there for any of this information. CAL FIRE has it as well. But that is the number one thing. Prepare. Make sure your phones are charged, and make sure that your loved ones and people that care about you know where you're going when you get there, whether it's a shelter or a friend's house or whatever. That's important because people are panicking and they're worried about you if you evacuate. So think about who needs to know where I am when things get sticky.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way to make a situation like that easy, but if you've planned ahead, you can make it maybe a little less stressful.
Absolutely.
Redcross.org, also a great place to find out more about volunteer opportunities. You mentioned that you really rely on the help of volunteers. What are you looking for in a Red Cross volunteer, and how can the community get involved with your organization and help people?
Well, we're looking for anyone and everyone. I like the idea that if you're an accountant, you don't have to volunteer to do finance with us. You can do anything you want. We provide the training for all lines of service for free. So if it's something you have an interest in and a background in, that's great. If it's something new that you want to do, like perhaps be a shelter volunteer when we do open these shelters, or you want to be a blood donor ambassador at a blood drive center, great. We will provide you with all that training. The easiest thing for you to do is go to our website, redcross.org, and there's a tab at the top that says volunteer. It'll explain to you what your options are essentially, and it'll direct you based on where you live, what your zip code is, to our region, for example, California Gold Country region. And once you fill out the questionnaire and tell us what your interests are, you'll be connected to our volunteer services folks, and they'll essentially tell you what you need to do to hit the ground running.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much for the work that you're doing in our community to help people and help save lives. And thank you for sharing about it with us here on Good Deeds today.
You're welcome. It's good to chat.